Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about second DevOps Lab program. Let's get started. Our program is about working with Maven, creating a Maven project, understanding the POM file, dependency management and plugins. Here are the outcomes of our today's session. We are going to learn about creating a Maven project, understanding the POM file, dependency management, and plugins. Before working and creating a Maven project, let us understand what is a Maven. Maven is a build automation tool used for a Java projects. So, what is a build automation tool? Build automation tool is a tool that will perform the tasks such as compiling the code, running the code, or testing your code automatically. If you are using this build automation tool, you do not have to do all these tasks manually. It uses a project object model, popularly known as POM file, to manage the project configuration. Project configuration means the set of rules and regulations that are required to deploy or execute your project. And this POM file will contain all of that project configurations. Also, Maven provides a standardized way to build, test, and deploy your Java application. Mainly in Maven, we are going to work with Java projects. Now, let us understand what are the steps to create a Maven project. First, open your Maven folder in a code editor. In this particular video, we are going to use VS Code as a code editor. And then from your VS Code, open the terminal and type the command as yumvian archetype generate. Now, let us see practically how to create our Maven project. To create a Maven project, I am using a VS Code editor. And this, once you have opened your VS Code, go to the files and open the folder in which your Maven project is present. As you can see, this is the file that we have downloaded in our last video. Open this folder and from here, go to the terminal and type the command yumvian archetype generate. Now, the first thing it will ask you is to choose a number or the apply filter. Here you can set this as a default and hit enter. And then it will ask you to choose a number. Again, you can set this as a default and hit enter. Now, it will ask you for a group ID. You can choose any group ID name that you want. I will type it as a college and hit enter. Now, artifact ID means you can give your unique name. I will select it as a student. And again, the version also you can set it as a default and hit enter. Enter. Now you need to type it as a yes. And if you type as a S, now your project has been successfully created. Now you can see here that we have created our archetype file by the name of the student, and here the folder has been created. And now, while building this project, we have got a file called as a pom.xml. Now we are going to discuss what are the things present in this file. Now, let us understand what is a pom.xml file. POM stands for Project Object Model, and it is an XML file that contains the project configuration and dependencies. Now, what is an XML file? It is an extensible markup language and it has a plain text file that contains the data in a structured format using the tags. Tags are basically we know what we use in a HTML. Like basically in that form, like the head tag, the body tag. In the similar form, we will get a tags in XML file also. It is used to store and transport the information in a readable and organized way. Like if you want to collect the data and transfer it for some other people, you can use a XML file. Now, let us see what all the contents present in our pom.xml file. Here you can see this is a pom.xml file, and here we have the group ID artifact ID that we have given. Now, if you look this pom.xml file, this has some dependencies and also the plugins here. See, these are the plugins, and now let us discuss what are these dependencies and plugins in this pom.xml file. Now, let us understand what are the dependency management and plugins in Maven. Maven automatically manages the dependencies and downloads the required jars. To understand dependencies in a better way, let us consider an example. You are building a Java project, and now you need to connect your project with a MySQL database. If you are not using a Maven project, then externally you will be finding a MySQL connector, download that file, and then connect your downloaded file with your present working folder. But if you are using a Maven, then Maven will find the dependencies present in the central repository and download it automatically. Maven automatically downloads the required jar files from the central repository. Now, what is a central repository? Central repository means it has hundreds and thousands of dependencies that any Java project needs. Like your Java project need a MySQL dependency, but some other project need other dependencies. All of these dependencies are stored in the central repository, and whenever your project need a certain dependencies, Maven will go to that central repository, look for that, and download that repository automatically. It also manages the version compatibility and resolves the conflict solving time and efforts. For example, as we know that if we should run Maven in our system, we must have a Java 17 or 21 version in our system. In a similar way, you are building a software that required the specified version of some other software. Maven will take care of that. Now, let us look what are the plugins in Maven. Plugins add the functionality to the build process, defined under the build section in POM XML file. Now, this build is a tag under which all our plugins are defined. As I said that if we are using a Maven, then the task such as compiling the code, running it, or testing it will be conducted automatically. We do not have to do that manually. Now, this automatic work will be done with the help of the plugins. Now, some of the popular plugins are Maven compiler plugin, which will compile our code, and then we have the Maven Surefire plugin, which will runs the unit test. Like if you want to test your code, you are going to use this plugin. And then we have Maven jar plugin. It packages the compiled code into the jar file, and basically these jar files are required for deployment of your project. I hope you have understood all the concepts of creating a Maven project and then understanding the pom.xml file, and then understanding the pom.xml file structure, which has the dependencies and plugins in it. Thank you. Meet you all in a next video.